Hi everyone, this is Board Games and Bourbon. I'm Glenn Flaherty. Thanks for being here again. Today I want to talk about Grand Central Skyport, which was sent over by 25th Century Games. Now, this is designed by Dan Germain, illustrated by Andrew Bosley, which is such an identifiable art style. If you've ever seen his artwork, you're going to know it instantly. Now, the thrust of this game is, it's a slightly heavier than family weight game, heavier than Ticket to Ride, but it's very approachable. And the theme of the game is that you are trying to build skyports. Now, the skyports in this game are essentially cards. You're going to have many types of cards in your game. You're going to have cards that look like this, and these are cards you get from a central deck. They have numbers of movement, they have abilities they can do, and what you're trying to do in the game is, in the skyport, you are trying to create stacks of cards of the same color that's a multiplier for however many stars the stacks touch. And the stacks are going to touch stars either because the stars are on the cards or there's lines on the cards that'll connect it to other stars. You're also going to have stations. Stations are going to have colors on them too that are going to help you connect. And then you can also go to tycoons, and tycoons are going to have stars or symbols and stuff like that. They also have powers that say when a certain type of card is played, you may manipulate your stacks, and if you have so many at the end of the game, you're going to get a set collection score. There's also a mid-game set collection because there's so many colors of cards that if you complete sets of those cards and it's a race to the points, you're going to get a certain amount of points. The second person to do it gets fewer points, like it goes from 9 to 7 to 5, and that's for colors. And then there's also symbols. You can race for that too. Again, it's mostly around mid-game, and then if you get all the symbols, you can go to a spot and get that. Now, the reason it's important to move these cards around is when you play cards down in your skyport, you put them to the left or the right, and that might not be the optimal place. So this is kind of like your puzzle, and it's controlled by a rondell. It's kind of like your combination lock. That's going to decide what actions you get, what cards you get, and what you get to do. So essentially how the turns are going to go are, you're going to start with a hand of 2 cards, and you're going to put one down. So I have a green card, let's say. I'm going to put it on my skyport right here, and this says I can move my card 3 spaces. At this point, it really doesn't matter because I can't connect to anything, but it also has a movement on it that says 4. So I can take my little standee, which is kind of like a hot air balloon, kind of like steampunky in a way, and I'm going to move it around this rondell, and I can go up to that many movements, okay? And when I choose a spot, no matter where I go, I get to pick up a card, whether that be a card from the central deck, the small one, a station card, or a tycoon card. There's also things that'll say, like, I can complete my sets. Over here, I can move stacks that match the color of the card I take. I can gain this over there. Various different things. And you're going to go around, and every time you do that, you take one card and you replace it. You take a central card, you put it on the rondell. You're going to keep doing that until you finally hit a station closing card. At that point, you see who has the most points, the stars, who has the sets, X, Y, and Z, and then you score the game. Now, the rules in the game are pretty light. You can read through it very quickly and get playing, kind of like all 25th Century games. I want to say the rules to this might even be 9 pages, really not much. I was even playing a micro game the other day, and it was 21 pages. This one, 12 pages total, okay? And that includes with like icons. 12 pages is nothing. And it's big font, okay? The setup, again, very, very quick. The size of the game, large, grand. It has that grand central station, right? So that grand appeal. So if you're going to play this game, you do need a lot of space. This central board here, and I will say this is a prototype game, so take that with a grain of salt. It's quite large. I'm on a table here that I bought for playing, and it takes up the whole thing when we were playing it too. Your skyport is going to stretch. You're going to start with a few cards, but you start building out side by side. You're going to need some elbow room there with the players next to you too, okay? Do your turns evolve as you go through the game? Well, some things are going to evolve. As you play the game and as you get tycoons, you're going to have more options of what kinds of cards you can shift around in your Skyport. Because like this card here says, if you have time clocks, you may move any other stack 1 or 2 spaces. So you're trying to get your stacks of cards. If I have something with I play a card that either has a orange ship on it or a cube on it, for every time symbol that I have in my deck, I can move cards around. And you start to get more and more of those abilities. So I wouldn't say the complexity of what you do evolves or grows, but the options you have do grow. Now, as you're putting together your Skyports too, you're going to start to notice, like over here, I have blue, green, red, yellow. I'm getting close to getting all my colors. There's 6 colors there. I'm getting close to getting all my colors. Now, I might want to start paying attention to the set collection to score. Okay, so first you're going to open up the game trying to get your stacks. Then you're like, okay, there's 9 points out there. That's a lot of points in this game. Maybe I'm going to try to get the set collection there. So I need to land on a color on an orange because that's going to complete my set. That looks like that's 3 moves away. I need to play a card that really doesn't benefit my stacks, but it's going to give me that 3 movement. Maybe I'll put that down so I can get there. And then if I can complete my set, then I can move to the spot that says completed sets, trade it in and get my points. And you start paying attention to those things. But once you complete your sets, and that's about 2/3 of the way through the game, you probably start paying attention back to just your multiplying stacks of cards there. Probably paying a little bit more attention to your tycoons. So the places of your focus changed. As for the length of the game, it says 30 minutes to 60. That's accurate. It's hard to say if that's, I'm sure that's the sweet spot. You'll never know because you've never played another variation in this. You do get that climatic swell when you're looking at your stacks and your set collection, and it does seem to focus a little bit in on those last few turns there. But if you were to cut those off because it felt like, oh, maybe it's anticlimactic, but the game might feel truncated and like you didn't get enough turns to really do what you want there. So the length feels pretty good. The complexity, again, is the puzzle nature of it, okay? And you can see the puzzle unfold in front of you. So if you're looking for a family weight game that I would probably say 10 and older can play, easy to set up, looks good, you have the table space for it, and is a change of pace, because I can't say I've had too many games here that have this puzzle aspect. And I was thinking about comparisons too. I would say this game reminds me of World's Fair meets Arboretum. Put those two together, you start to have this, and then you just have that amazing art of Andrew Bosley on top of it, which elevates everything. And almost in a way too, graphically reminds me of like Studio Ghibli. So if you're into that, you might like this too. Okay, so that is Grand Central Skyport. If you're looking for a family weight game a little heavier, check this out. It might be for you. If you have specific questions about gameplay, happy to answer. And until next time, be well. Talk to you soon.